You have to wear a tuxedo.
We actually have to hurry, sweetie.
Well, believe it or not, I actually have a tuxedo. It's for a wedding that got canceled a few years ago.
Today we are talking about scouting for Christmas. Yeah, this is one of the new movies in the Countdown to Christmas this year, so if you haven't seen it, watch my review and decide whether or not you should. Here is a quick synopsis. A single mom tries to make her daughter's Christmas special since her dad is working overseas for the holidays. She partners with her daughter's favorite baker for the holiday ball. So let's dive into the holiday drum roll. I give this movie a sleigh or a 4. Overall, this movie was really good. It definitely had a different feel than normal Hallmark movies. Like, it was a kind of more slower paced movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed the message in this movie because I feel like I related to it. And I really like Christmas movies when you watch them and you kind of see yourself in the character. And the big message in this movie was it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let your guard down and open up to people and have them help you, because the main lead, Angela, she just didn't know how to ask for help. She had the mindset that she can do everything by herself, that she just didn't need help. And as the movie progressed, like, you kind of saw that change in her and realized that she actually does need help, and she gets around to asking for it. And I really like how they did the scene of her asking for help, because the way they did it, she was very awkward with it, and it was hard for her to get out, because that's really how it is. Like, when you're a person who believes in doing stuff by yourself, and the way the movie showed it is they had her struggling to actually ask for help, and her daughter actually helps her, like, hey, this is what we need. And so I really think they did pretty good with this movie. I loved the chemistry between the two main leads. I'm not gonna lie, the guy in this movie, the male lead, he had me blushing as I was watching this movie. I was like, oh my goodness, why am I feeling this through the screen? But he did really good, and I just liked how he was just like all in from the beginning, and how I was feeling stuff just watching this movie. So he did really good. Angela's little girl in this movie, I thought she did really good too, because I just loved how she just kind of called her mom out. She's like, hey, can my mom bring a date to this dance? Like, her mom, and she basically just spends the whole movie trying to set her mom up with this baker guy. And so I thought the kid did really good. The one thing I didn't really like is how they kind of had Angela's ex-husband come in, Dakota, because that was kind of unnecessary. Like, I mean, it was kind of good because he got closure, because he was like, I still love you. And then she's like, well, I don't love you. But at the same time, it was kind of unnecessary, because then it didn't really even seem like he wanted her back. He was just like kind of there. Like, it didn't really add to the Angela and the Baker storyline. It was kind of just more like he was there for his daughter, and then they tried to kind of throw in this, oh, here you go. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good movie. I also like the concept of it being about kind of like an off-brand Girl Scouts, because I was a Girl Scout when I was younger. And so it was kind of cool to kind of see that thrown in. And overall, I thought this was a pretty good watch. It's okay to ask for help, and it's going to be hard if you're one of the people that it's not easy to do, because I know for me, I am willing to help people out all the time. But when it comes time for me to actually ask for help, that's when it's kind of hard, because I don't want to be a burden to other people. And so to me, that's kind of like when I ask for help, that's kind of how I feel. I kind of feel like one of the reasons I really like watching Hallmark movies is because sometimes they provide you with a little bit of therapy. Like, you can have certain situations in your life, and you know, like, you kind of think about it, you're like, oh, I should have done this differently. But for me, like, seeing it in a movie, like, there were certain instances where I'm like, okay, I've done that, and kind of like actually watching it out, and I'm like, oh, so it kind of like gives you a sense of like therapy in a little bit. And so, like, I feel like you get some self-reflection, and I honestly feel like that's what this movie brought to me. So I enjoyed it. It got a sleigh or a 4. Let me know what you thought if you watched it. It's definitely a different feel than the other romantic comedy movies, because it is kind of like a lot slower, but I enjoyed it, and I related to the character a little bit. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys soon for the next movie. This has been another episode of Real Talk with Noelle.